I'm here.
It is the locker room on Smooth 98.1. And yes, it's Tega and Zibby. Good morning, Tega.
Good morning, Zibby. On this simply rainy morning. That's all I can call it.
Let's call it a rainy, a blessed day.
All right, that's what we're going to call it. So, how was your weekend? Were you one of people that won a trophy over the weekend? Because this weekend, PSV won um uh the league in Holland. Um, Real Madrid won in La Liga. They are still fighting in England whether they should give it back to Manchester City or whether they should give it to the Elephants. I've not seen this kind of fight before, but they are still struggling for that league there. All right, so we'll touch on all those stories and more because the Champions League comes up this week. What is going to happen to Mbappe and what's going to happen in Real Madrid? So we'll touch on all those stories this week. But before we do that, Zivi, tell us, how can we be part of the locker room this morning?
All right, it's pretty easy. All you need to do is send a message via WhatsApp 0809 440 You can also tweet at Smooth981. And yes, we are streaming live on YouTube. It's Smooth981. That's our channel. Subscribe, post a comment, and of course, catch the live stream.
All right. Whilst we do all that, we're going to run through the headlines quickly and find out the reason why some Ghanaian friends of yours might be poking you this morning. So Zibi, let's just run through those headlines.
All right. 2024 World Relays, Nigeria's 4x400 meter mixed relay team qualify for Paris Olympics. Norris beat Verstappen in Miami for first Formula One win. Swiatek finds Nadal inspiration to win crazy Madrid Open title. Chelsea lift European chances with drubbings of West Ham. Barca have huge amount to change next season, this according to Coach Xavi. Haaland hits 4 as Man City keep title pressure on leaders Arsenal. PSG will come back and reach Champions League final, and this is what Mbappe is saying. Man United's Maguire out for 3 weeks with muscle injury.
Yeah, I'm sure if you're asking him between struggling to stay in sixth or going to the Euros, he'd pick going to the Euros with his favorite coach, Gareth Southgate. All right, so let's start with the first story about the Nigerians that are in the Bahamas. Unfortunately, they are not going to the beach. They are running on the track. Tell us.
Nigeria's quartet of Samuel Ogazi, Ella Onojiafe, Chidi Okezi, and Esther Elo Joseph competing in the mixed 4x400 meters event. The ongoing world relays in the Bahamas have qualified for the Paris Olympics holding later this year.
All right, so the world of athletics is at the Bahamas right now, and they are all trying to qualify for the relays at the Paris Olympics this year. And first of all, I must say for Nigeria, Chidi Okezi needs to have a cape because this guy, amazing dude. He runs to qualify the mixed relay team 4x400, and then after they've qualified to be at the Paris Olympics, he runs with the men to qualify them. Just 2 hours later, he runs with the men to qualify them
Wow.
for the Paris Olympics. So just give him his cape. He was fantastic on this. So when you call him Chidi Okeze, you call it with style. You don't just say Chidi Okeze like he's one ordinary guy. All right. But also those are not the only two teams from Nigeria making it to the relays at the Olympics, because early hours of this morning, the women's 4x100 also qualified. So there's going to be a women's 4x100 team at the Olympics. And then the men's 4x100 meters also qualified. Unfortunately, they qualified second behind Ghana. So if your Ghanaian friends are cooking on the social media today, just ignore them and go to work. Today is Monday. Face your hustle. Leave all this banter. The, the purpose of going to the Bahamas was to qualify for the Olympics. We're not there to go and beat Ghana. We're there to qualify for the Olympics, and we did. Unfortunately, they'll remind us that they won the heat and we came second for us to qualify. So that's why your Ghanaian friends are cooking. So far we have 4 teams that have qualified for the Paris Olympics. Unfortunately, we're still waiting on news. Sorry, not news, confirmation, but I don't think it's happening. The women's 4x400 meters. Um,
Oh.
yes, yes, we are still waiting for that. I mean, confirmation, not really
Mm.
news, but we are not
Wow.
making
Yeah.
it.
There's just something magical about relays. I think it's like my favorite thing ever to watch because
Yeah,
it's beautiful to watch,
yeah,
really.
it's a high energy. It's all the
Hmm.
transition and all the uncertainty because
Yes.
it's not about speed. It's about teamwork. It's about technique. And
Right.
so if you like run as fast as Usain Bolt. If you don't pass that battle, if you're not running with the battle, it's done. So it's all that high energy, that uncertainty.
Mm.
Would somebody drop the baton? Will somebody step out of their line? Will somebody cross this designated zone for handover? It's
Right.
all of those things that come together that just makes it a movie. And it's a movie in a few seconds. That's what makes it really interesting.
Mm.
So yes, so Nigeria has 4 teams now that will compete at the Paris Olympics. So
That's
we are
good.
building our team. We're good to go.
I mean, traditionally, Nigeria's always done really well in relays, haven't they?
Traditionally. Do you know how many things we did very well in traditionally that we no longer do? We did a lot of things traditionally, we no longer do them. So let's
Oh,
just
wow.
let's be thankful.
Okay.
All right.
All right. McLaren's Lando Norris beat Red Bull's Max Verstappen with help from the safety car to take his maiden F1 victory at the Miami Grand Prix.
All right. So yesterday was crazy. And it should have been, it was Miami. So you know how it is with the Americans. The Americans have got the sports show business down to a T. Everybody else should just pick up their jotter and pen and just be collecting notes because those guys have it on lockdown. All the stars came out, every single star, every industry. They came out dressed to the nines from NFL to movies to music. Everybody was there. Zinedine Zidane was there because he's an
Oh,
ambassador of Alpine. So I was like, my own Zizou, my very own Zizou was in Miami. So they got down the stars, the bright lights, and everything. It now came down to the race on track. And even I was a bit skeptical. I was like, Red Bull is going to win again. They've been winning everything since, apart from, the time that Carlos Sainz won the race after his surgery. That was exciting. But you also have to remember that Red Bull had technical issues. So there was always that question mark over that win. But yesterday there was no such question marks because it was down to strategy. It wasn't luck, it was preparation. So Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri, raced for McLaren, and McLaren had decided that they were going to try the one stop with Lando Norris. So when everybody else was going into the pit lane, Lando Norris was staying out and he was fifth. So he was staying out and seeing how long he could last on his tires, and then they would try the one pit stop so that he would have fresher tires towards the end and he can challenge for podium spaces. That was the ambition at the start of the race. Then Kevin Magnussen, as usual, so things are certain in life. In F1, it's almost certain that Kevin Magnussen is going to hit somebody or crash into a wall. Magnussen is just that guy. And so yesterday, he crashed into another driver, and the safety
wow.
car came out. And the safety car came out, unfortunately for everybody at the top. They had gone into the pit, so it was normal pit time. They had gone into the pit lane to do their tire changes, and they all came out apart from Lando Norris, who had stayed out to do a longer stint on the first tires. And so he was leading the race when that crash happened. And then the safety car came out, which meant that he had a literal free pit stop. And so he went into the pit lane and came out ahead of everybody. So it was that strategy that got them there first. So he came out ahead of everybody, not just ahead of everybody, ahead of even the safety car. So everybody had to drive around to come back to pick him up in the number one spot. So the question was, Max Verstappen was second in his position, but the question was, would Max Verstappen be able to jump him at the restart? And it's always tricky because if you've not really led a Formula One race, you may either go too early or you may go too late, and people with experience will just overtake you. So it's how you restart the race. And he didn't start it very well, I must say. He didn't restart it very well because Max Verstappen looked like he was almost going to overtake, but he stepped on it and just zoomed off. And Max Verstappen just tried to push, and then Max Verstappen had to fight off the Ferraris who were behind him, and who were also trying to pull him. And so fighting off the Ferrari kind of stopped him from chasing McLaren. And then when he decided to start chasing Lando Norris, he chased too hard, went over a curb, damaged the under of his car. So at the end of the day, he didn't have the pace to even catch up with Lando Norris. And that's how Lando Norris just skipped skipped to the win, winning his first Grand Prix ever.
Wow.
Fantastic one, and it was not just the way he won. After he won, it was all the drivers that were saying, "You mean Lando won it?" And everybody was happy for him. I was like, "How are
Oh,
you happy with somebody that won what you wanted?" But yeah,
that's good
everybody else was happy.
sportsmanship.
Everybody was happy for him. It just shows the kind of person he is
Mm-hmm.
around the paddock. People were stopping over McLaren to just see him. He held up the press conference for a little longer. But yes, the 21st British driver to win a Grand Prix, his first Grand Prix. So, and then he also won Driver of the Day. So congratulations to him, and McLaren. They were so happy. If you saw the way Zach Brown was misbehaving yesterday, you could tell that last night they went out to party, because they were supposed to fly last night, and then after Lando won the race, Zach Brown was like, "We're not flying tonight, we fly tomorrow." So you can tell that they painted the town some color. I don't know if it was orange or red, but they painted the town some color. But it was great to see another constructor, another driver apart from Red Bull winning. So kudos to Miami.
Brilliant, brilliant. All right, and let's know your thoughts. The WhatsApp number is 0809 4440981. Don't forget, you can also tweet at Smooth981. We're streaming live on our YouTube channel, and there's some activity ongoing as well. So you can catch that live stream. It's Smooth981. And yes, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on the other shows. Let's see, we've got a message coming through on YouTube. This is from LK Aderoba, and LK says, "To think Chelsea had such an abysmal season, I might still finish above Man U is such a joy to watch. Sad we don't have many Spurs fans in Nigeria. The dragging of Tottenham, no 2-day sweets."
Yes, that's true. The way Chelsea has picked up is the exact fantastic way that Spurs are capitulating. So, but we'll touch on that when we come back from this break.
But huh. Okay, we're back on. It's the Locker Room on Smooth 98.1. The official hashtag for the show is Locker Room 981 if you want to tweet. And of course, you can also send messages via WhatsApp 0809 4440981. We're streaming live on YouTube. Hey, hi YouTube. It's Smooth 981 on YouTube. And you can actually post a comment underneath that live stream as well. Tega, are we ready for some tennis?
Not as ready as you are. The way you sprinted back to your chair. Are you sure you're not going to? You're not going to represent us at the Olympics.
I represented my house in secondary school in a 400-meter race. I don't know who had that brilliant idea. And when I saw I was coming last, I'm like, okay, let me just pretend to faint. So,
Don't worry,
all
that'll be
right.
nice. We'll take that too. All right, let's go to some tennis.
Top-ranked Iga Swiatek came through the most intense and crazy final she's ever contested to avenge her loss to Arina Sabalenka in last year's Madrid final. It was a grueling 3-hour, 11-minute victory in the Spanish capital on Saturday.
All right. So remember that last year that was the final. It was Iga Swiatek against Arina Sabalenka for the title in Madrid, and they also went to 3 sets that time, but it was Sabalenka that eventually won that one. So this year it did look like Sabalenka after Iga Swiatek took the first set. She served poorly in the final game of the second set, and she was broken by Sabalenka. And Sabalenka won that set. So they got to the third set, and there was that break, and Iga Swiatek broke back. In fact, then they got to the final game of that third set, and Iga Swiatek had to save match points, 2 match points, to get through, to take it to a tiebreaker. Then they get to the tiebreaker, and again, Sabalenka gets a mini break, and Iga Swiatek has to save another couple of match points to eventually win the match. And so it was the breaks, it was the rallies, it was the fact that, you know how Sabalenka is, she once she starts losing a point, she starts hitting a little harder, and then her groans start getting a little louder. There's a reason why people are calling her Tiger, and she has the tiger tattoo on her arm. And then her roar starts getting a little louder, and sometimes it can put the people on the other side of the net off just a little bit. The hard hitting and the roaring that comes with it. I don't want to call it groaning anymore. It's a roar. That comes with the hard hitting. But Iga Swiatek was like, if you like, scream. I'm not moving from this place without a trophy. So it was Iga Swiatek's doggedness, because she doesn't hit the ball as hard as Sabalenka does. She doesn't serve as well as Sabalenka does. But what she does is she will return a good number of shots. And when she returns, you better get ready, because she returns them deep into the court and she can put you off. And so it was that return, that being able to stay in the rallies, that helped Iga Swiatek to win this. At the end of the day, she won the tiebreaker and then won the Madrid Masters. That was the only trophy that was missing from her set. From the European trophy. So she's won all that. Remember, she's still young in her career, 22, with already 20 titles. And from the results of the past 3 years, she's the best woman on clay right now. So she had to show it on the day, and she won it in the men's championship. And I had to talk about women's first, because they're the ones that saved the entire Madrid Masters, because the men's championships, everybody that you thought was going to get to the finals picked up an injury, from Medvedev to Carlos Alcaraz to Yannick Sinner.
Right.
And all of them are pulled out of the Rome Masters. They're supposed to be coming up because they're all hoping to be ready for the Roland Garros, which is taking place a few weeks later. Not only that, but even Yannick Sinner is saying that if he's not 100%, he just might miss the French Open. So on the men's side, the injury at the top was a lot. But the finals came down to Felix Auger-Aliassime against Andrei Rublev, who was a little sick earlier on during the week at the Rome Masters, at the Madrid Masters, but he was able to hold his sickness and win a 3-set match. So congratulations to Andrei Rublev winning another 1,000 Masters. Sad one for Felix Auger-Aliassime, because he had 2 walkovers. Yannick Sinner pulled out. Lehechka retired just 3 games in. It looked like the universe was working to get him to win this Masters, especially after he won the first set. But he didn't have good game management, lost the second set poorly, I must say, and then he double faulted to lose the third set. And you're just like, what are you doing? So maybe his journey was too easy, and that's why he wasn't able to win. But congratulations to Iga Swiatek and Andrei Rublev on the Madrid Masters. Next up, Rome.
All right. Well, Chelsea Chelsea boosted their chances of European football next season, thumping West Ham 5-0 in the Premier League with Cole Palmer, Conor Gallagher, Noni Madueke, and Nicholas Jackson, with two all getting on the score sheet on Sunday.
Yeah,
Woo-hoo.
so Chelsea that was supposed to be having a horrible season and the one finishing stronger. And all I can say for Chelsea fans is better get ready because Pochettino will sit down there. Because think about it, if you're supposed to be having a horrible season and then you finish with this great run that they've had now because they're getting back into European places, you finish with a great run. Would Todd Bowley want to fire Pochettino? No, he'd be like, oh, Pochettino has finally found the key to making this team work. So he's going to get another contract. So Chelsea fans, welcome your future. But brilliant run towards the end. And especially against a team like West Ham, where you think that they at least have put up a fight. I still thought that Chelsea was going to win yesterday because, like I said, they came into this one with better form. And West Ham are giving up a lot of goals. So I did think that if it came down to who can outscore the other team, that Chelsea would definitely edge it. I just didn't think it was going to be 5-0. Could have been 6 or
Wow.
7. The
That's an
way West Ham,
annihilation.
and it was just different. Chelsea was playing brilliantly and West Ham was playing horribly, especially defensively. So a good one for Chelsea. And yes, they just may finish up above Manchester United. So Manchester United, today is the day. Please redeem your times today against Crystal Palace.
All right. And we have some messages coming through, but let's move on
Can we
to
just do
another.
some stories? Yeah.
Yes. Barcelona coach Xavi Hernandez said his team had a huge amount to change next season after Real Madrid claimed their La Liga crown on Saturday.
It's the way he has just quickly moved on to next season. Like, let's roll this season up, throw it in a basket, and start all over again. No, you can't do that. And I think that's part of the problem why they've lost and they're no longer the best team in Catalonia already. Because, yes, Real Madrid did their job against Cardiff. They were always going to win the league again. The question was when. And they did their job winning against Cardiff. But for Barcelona to have lost earlier on in the season against Girona and then lose again to them over the weekend by 4-2. It's almost unpardonable because you knew they were coming. You could see them coming. And in recent weekends, Girona has lost some pretty easy matches to teams that even Barcelona have defeated. So Barcelona didn't prepare for that. Xavi Hernandez is not the guy. Unfortunately, for Barcelona fans, I don't know how to tell you this politely, but Xavi is going to be your coach next season. Yes, this horrible Xavi that is just trying to write off script and move on to the next one. He's going to be the coach next season. So it doesn't look like there's going to be any improvement because I don't think it just comes down to the fact that this is the end of the season and players have already checked out. It's also the way that the management handles it. How can you just close out a season, 3 matches to the end of the season, when you can still fight for second position and say, okay, let's dump this and move on to next season? That's just rubbish. So it's a tough one for Barcelona fans and for the team Barcelona. The recovery doesn't look like it's going to be anytime soon. But yes, congratulations to Real Madrid. They have won the La Liga for the 36th time. And that's why Real Madrid fans are just proud in anyhow.
Their shoulders are high.
It's too high.
Okay. Erling Haaland scored 4 times as Manchester City thrashed Wolves 5-1 to move within 1 point of Arsenal after the Premier League leaders beat Bournemouth 3-0 on Saturday.
Yes, just when Arsenal can think that they're running away, Manchester City will just reel them back in with some reality. And it's not just the result that happened, it's the fact that Erling Haaland scored 4 of those goals. Like, okay, why are you still scoring 4 goals at the end of the season? What's happening here? But they want to get their title and he wants to retain his golden boots. And regardless of what it is, he still had a bad season, no matter what, because he's had a bad season. He had a rough patch at the wrong time, getting knocked out of the Champions League. So it was not a convenient time, but he will try his best to see if they can win, the title for a fourth time. And remember, they still have that game in hand. So tough one for Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans are playing brilliantly. Unfortunately, they are being chased by a perpetual champion. So it makes it harder for you because when you think about it, all the teams that you think can stop Arsenal are the teams collecting goals here and there. Think about it. You think Tottenham is a team that will stop Manchester City. Tottenham is losing brutally. Yesterday they lost 4-2 to Liverpool. You think West Ham may be the team to do the work for you? West Ham is the team that lost 5-0 to Chelsea. How do you how does that
Wow.
team want to stop Manchester City? So for Arsenal fans, they played brilliantly. Unfortunately, it seems as if they will just fall short.
Oops. Okay, well, PSG star Kylian Mbappe said that his team will come back from their 1-0 defeat in the Champions League semi-final first leg to Borussia Dortmund and qualify for the final.
They have nothing much else to fight for but getting to the final of the Champions League. And Mbappe needs to do that because Real Madrid are winning without him. So by the time he gets there, he won't be the superstar of the show. He'd be the boy that joined the great team to try and get a medal. He won't be the boy that brought the medal to the great team. So he needs to do something really mad and really fantastic with PSG. And that means tomorrow getting the win over Borussia Dortmund. Because they're a 1-goal deficit, but Borussia Dortmund are a better team or have presented themselves to be a better team. PSG have some great players, but they haven't played as a brilliant team the way that Borussia Dortmund has played as a brilliant team. And Borussia Dortmund will be very upset because they had the opportunity to at least double their lead at home before going to play PSG. But let's see how PSG can turn this one around. It's not such a huge deficit that they can't overturn, but because of the way they haven't convinced anybody with their play, it may look like a tough task.
All right. Well, Manchester United on Sunday have revealed England defender Harry Maguire will be sidelined for around 3 weeks with a muscle injury. Tega?
Okay, as usual. We forgot the button. Yeah, so yeah, today is the day. Harry Maguire may be injured for Manchester United, but I think he wants to. I think his focus will be to get ready. I'm not saying that he doesn't love Manchester United. I'm not saying that he doesn't want to play in the European sports, but his focus will be to get back to 100% so that he doesn't also miss the Euros. But Manchester United would need to put their aces together, all their acts together to be able to qualify for Europe. Because think about it, Chelsea has raised and uprooted themselves from their perpetual 10th position and are gunning for the same European spots that Manchester United have been occupying for a while. So Manchester United need to win today against Crystal Palace and find a winning formula for the rest of their matches this season, just to see if they can stave off, Chelsea. And that's a tough task. So the first match today is find a winning defensive central pairing that will stop them from conceding more goals. Beat Crystal Palace and then take the rest one game at a time. Sweet
All
Jesus.
right. You don't sound convinced. Oh, wow. All right, let's see what the messages are saying. Padre Pio on YouTube says, all this Chelsea thing tells me whatever you do, finish strong. Amen to that. Big Mayor says, against Chelsea, West Ham was just setting the bars. For Man United issues with Maguire, it's going to turn the tide against them, letting them finish behind Chelsea. Congratulations to Madrid. Padre Pio also says, Barcelona seems to have given up on winning titles for at least another 2 seasons. Good news for my darling Real Madrid, I guess. Ogundikbe says, good morning, guys. All I know is that Man City must not win the EPL this season. I beg all the EPL team to Man City on this one. I'm 100% standing with Arsenal. Tayo says, Zibby moving out of her chair like Flash. Man City have their hands on this title. It remains formal congratulations. Chelsea have consistently flattered to deceive through the season. Since Enzo got injured, Chelsea have been on the rise. It's looking like Poch and Jackson without his hair are pulling a Ponzi. Congrats to Madrid. I hope Barcelona's social media handy has congratulated them. I wish Girona has a better finish. They seemed credible. Ibukun from Ketu says, Tega, tell Elke Aderoba that United and Chelsea are in the same boat, struggling for UEFA League. The only difference is that Chelsea's decline and rise were over longer periods of time, whereas United is start and stop. Ineos should sack all the fitness and medical staff. How can our centre backs be injured? Even Kambala, that was called up from the academy, is injured. I wonder who will play centre back against Crystal Palace.
You have other players now. Somebody else can play. Even outfield players have played like goalkeepers before. You pick a player.
AY from Oniru says, When Pochettino's job is under threat, he suddenly transforms into prime Pep Guardiola. Big E from Ketsu says, Tega said it before, the less time Chelsea players stop going to the salon and be on the pitch training more, they will get the results. As Jackson barbed his hair, he can now score goals. See Zibby is happy in the studio like a lost sheep that they found the shepherd. Oh, wow. Anyway,
Yep,
Man
we are
U should
happy.
Hey, I like good things. Okay, so he says, anyway, Manu should get ready to collect from the Gunners. My boys are on fire from Saka to Rice. We'll keep winning till the end. From the big elephant on the tree. One last message. Blessing says, up Gunners. Okay.
I like the Arsenal spirit, but they've played extremely well. Unfortunately, just unfortunately, when you're contending with Manchester City for the Premier League, there's a reason they've won it 3 times in a row.
Wow.
They have experience here. All right. On that note, thank you all for all your messages. Thank you for sending your messages to WhatsApp. Thank you for streaming on YouTube. Please don't forget to subscribe. And then want to thank you again for tuning into Smooth 98.1 FM to listen to the locker room. Till I come your way again on Wednesday, hopefully with some great Mbappe banter, because me, I want Mbappe banter. It's bye for now.